Hello, I'm Matt Hancocks and welcome to another year of Raichious Reviews. And let's kick off this January with Oscar season. Don't lose your way in the night. Okay, stop. That was too much. That was a horrible idea. We're not doing that again. Please don't play that again. That's right, it's awards season, where we in England get all the films that the Americans got months ago. Where's my review of Coco? I'll let you know when the film arrives. Don't want Hacksaw Ridge to be at the top of my 2017 list? Well, then maybe you should have given it to me months earlier, and I could have put it on my 2016 list, which doesn't exist because I only started doing these reviews in 2017, the more I think about it. Wonder Woman could have been my top pick, but you had to ruin it. And because it's award season, let's get artsy. I think what I like about this time of year is that I don't really know what I'm gonna get out of film. Maybe it'll be like La La Land, where it's just like this magnificent spectacle that I can't help but enjoy. Or maybe it'll be something like Lion, which takes me out of my comfort zone and I actually appreciate it for that. Or maybe it'll be like Manchester by the Sea, where it's kind of slow, very pretentious, and pretty depressing. So, what do we have for this year's first outing? Molly's Game. Molly's Game tells the story of Molly Bloom, a woman who started up her own poker tournaments. The film's kind of split into two halves and it keeps going back and forth between each one. The first bit is entirely with narration from Molly's perspective, talking about how she got into the business and where it went from there. Let's get to the main thing that I like about this film, the protagonist. The half of the film that's all narrated gives a lot of insight into this character, and it's just a very fascinating journey to kind of piece together why she does the things she does. And we're given a lot of subtle clues that play into things later on that we didn't really pick up on the first time around. Honestly, this casting is one of those films that you have to go watch twice to kind of pick up on everything. I also like that when you watch this, it's kind of obvious that it's from a biased perspective. Like, for example, we'll see a scene played out with Molly's narration, but then we'll flash forward to when she's talking with a lawyer, and we kind of get some details like the name she changed around, or things were said a little bit differently in reality. It kind of puts you at odds with the character. You want to see where this goes, and you want to like her, but at the same time, you don't really know she's telling the truth, and I feel like that's where part of the fun actually comes from. It's kind of that fine line where you're trying to figure out whether or not you're supposed to like this character or mistrust them. It's actually kind of interesting that what Death Note and Breaking Bad took entire seasons to do, Molly's Game actually managed to take a very similar story of a good person losing their way and does it into a feature-length film. The other half of this film, which I love, was Idris Elba as Molly's attorney. I don't know what it is, but he just kind of commands the scene whenever he's in it. It's actually kind of weird, since for half of the film, Molly is so dominant, and for the other half, it's her attorney that's so dominant. But at the same time, they do have a lot of great chemistry between each other. It's kind of like they're trying to get an angle on each other and trying to one-up each other in the relationship. You get the sense that Molly isn't telling him everything, and it's kind of like the little gymnastics that she'll go through to avoid things and how he will get the truth out of her. And part of that's because through her narration, it's kind of like reading her memoirs, which are in the film. As we go through the film, the attorney brings up that he's been reading through her memoirs, and as the film goes on, he steadily learns more and more about her. Basically, he's learning about it at the same time that we are, so it's a very interesting relationship because we're exploring this character at the same time as another character. It's like we're hearing the words of one main character, but we're seeing it through the eyes and ears of another. And it's not just Idris Elba either. Pretty much every actor in this is giving a great performance. Even people that I wouldn't really expect it from. I honestly didn't recognize Kevin Costner in this film until I saw him in the credits. It felt like he actually became the character. Usually, he's one of those actors where I can't really get into the character because I'm too busy seeing Kevin Costner not do that well. Then again, maybe I usually see him in stuff like Man of Steel and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Though in the latter, I do really like him, just probably not for the right reasons. Seriously, that film's hilarious. Also, this is probably the most sinister Michael Cera has ever been. I'm kind of glad that he's getting back into acting. I haven't seen him for a while. The writing is very fast and slick in this film. That's the best way I could describe it. Slick. Words flow very quickly out of the characters' mouths, and a lot of wit is thrown in there as well. And it makes you laugh quite a bit, often with great setups to great punchlines, and sometimes with just how bizarre it is. I swear, this film has like the strangest interpretation of David Frost's Two Paps poem that I've ever heard. It helps give the film like an extra aura of comedy and flow to it that really does punch it up and stops from feeling just like another film. The editing too is very, very interesting. And strangely enough, I noticed it during the narrated segments, not the stuff with the lawyer. Again, it's very fast and energized and slick. Now, I might be wrong, but it kind of feels that what they're going for here is the idea that the editing is matching the writing because it's her words, it's how she's describing it, so it has to match that flow. So when we come back to the present day or the future or whatever this flash forward is, it kind of feels like it's slowing down, it's a bit more reality, the music is a lot different. It's almost as if one half was directed by Edgar Wright and the second half was directed like it's just a normal film. It also matches Molly's mental state a lot of the times, like there's one part where she's supposed to be kind of out of it and the editing just kind of keeps like getting dark and coming back in. It's a very disorientating effect, but not distractingly so. And a lot of the times when she's being very analytical and overthinking things, we get to see that visually displayed in the film. So in conclusion, Molly's Game is cool. Really is no other way to describe it. It's cool. It looks cool, it sounds cool, everybody comes across as cool. Both its writing and editing are just so fast and fluid that it really does give it a pace that never feels like it's dragging at any point. Like, you never look at a scene and think, oh, how much longer is this going to go on? No, every scene seems to last as long as it needs to. It gives the right amount of information. And on top of that, we've got some great characters to carry us through it, especially our protagonist too. This really feels like a character study of this person more than anything. Like, we're just dissecting what gets the heart of this person and what makes it tick. So overall, I love the main character, I love the secondary character, I love the writing, and I love the editing, so it's a 9 out of 10. See, this is the kind of film that I really like to see around this time of year. It's a film that doesn't feel like it's trying to be pretentious, like it's trying too hard to get an Oscar. It just does what it does so well. Or against the Edgar Wright comparison, it really does remind me a lot of Baby Driver in just how fluid it moves and just how cool it comes across. It's a fantastic film and a great start to the year. Oscar season's only just begun and who knows, maybe this time I'll actually be able to get my uploads out in time. But probably not. Take care now, bye bye then.